It's lights out and away we go!
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the GT UK F1 podcast. I'm joined by Alan.
Hello.
And unfortunately, David's not with us this week. Just a quick note as well before we talk about the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Apologies that the episode, literally, the last episode went out early. That was my mistake, but yeah. So, you got to listen to that one earlier than scheduled.
Can't get the stuff these days.
So, obviously, we're going to talk about Jeddah, and obviously I didn't catch practice 1, practice 2, or practice 3, and neither did you.
Nope.
I don't know. You might catch Miami. Well, it depends on the times of that one, but
Yeah, I've got a couple of weeks to wait for that yet.
I mean, from what I'm looking at, just looking through the timings, the only standout shock to me was Gasly topping FP1.
Not by much, but yeah.
And then FP2 was McLaren and Max, and then McLaren and Mercedes for FP3. Yeah. Now, qualifying. Q1.
I'm shocked about Stroll going out in Q1. I'll
I'm
admit that. I am, because he's been strong.
I'm not. I don't think Aston Martin are fully committed to development of that car.
Oh, no, they're not.
I think they're concentrating more to 2026. But it still shows that even if that car's not great, Alonso can still outperform him.
Oh, yeah, I think it's really the first real time that Alonso's actually outperformed him.
I mean, have Sauber just given up at this point? Already?
I don't think they have.
They don't seem to be getting anywhere, like qualifying wise.
But now they've got the race pace.
I mean, Bortoletto, he seems like he's struggling a lot. When it comes to qualifying.
Yeah. Also depends on when they stick him out on track and things like that. Is he going to get caught in traffic? And that's obviously going to be playing on their mind as well. I mean, Hulkenberg should be used to it, you know. He's not exactly a rookie anymore.
No.
I mean, so you could sit there and say, okay, he's a rookie, you know, he's still getting used to it. Okay, yes, he's driven F2 around some of these tracks, but there's a massive step up from the F2 to the F1.
Oh, yeah, power.
Yeah, power, size, steering wheel. It's little things that makes a difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, my biggest shock was actually seeing Stroll going out in Q1, because, like I said, he has been strong for Aston Martin. Whether you like the bloke or not, he's actually been their main point scorer.
Yeah, but the problem is, though, like we say, he's only got he's only got that seat because everyone's the team.
Yeah, but
I
he's
think,
obviously doing something right at the moment to be outscoring Alonso.
yeah, Alonso hasn't had a good run so far. Hasn't not had the best of run.
Well, Alonso still score points, whereas Stroll's got 10 points. It's not much, but those 10 points are 10 points.
Well, yeah. And then you've got, again, you come to Ferrari and Hamilton's struggling.
Yeah.
Which is odd. Obviously considering his champion, how many championships he's got, and I mean, okay, yeah, he's getting used to the car, but
Getting used to the car, the team, and how they operate, and things like that.
But I think when he moved, I think this whole when he made the announcement of moving to Ferrari and stuff like that, and I think it got very, very, very overhyped.
Oh yeah, well, it was talked about all season. Okay, he did it. He announced it very, very early. He announced it before last season even started. So obviously that was the main talking point for most of the season was him going to Ferrari.
Yeah. But, bar his China sprint win, when he won at China, I was thinking, oh, well, is this the bounce back of him?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And
But he's gone back again, sort of thing.
yeah. I mean, I bet that was a little bit bittersweet for Carlos as well, for Sainz, basically.
Yeah.
While getting above him in Q1.
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, you replaced me, but I mean, fair play to Mercedes with Russell and Antonelli in quali, because I don't know, Kimi just seems to be very.
He's very settled in that car.
But yeah, he seems very switched on with it. Seems like he's gelled quite well with it, whereas Sainz going to Williams, Hamilton got a Ferrari, and obviously when Lawson went to the Red Bull at first, they didn't seem to have good luck with it. But he seems to have managed that car.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at all the rookies this year. Out of all the rookies, he's top on the table.
Yeah. I mean, Hadjar's been.
Oh, Hadjar, I still rate Hadjar. I still rate Hadjar. I really do, and I think he's got a lot to show. I mean, okay, he's got 5. You look at the points wise. Yeah, okay, he's got 5 points. Bowman's got 6. Okay, he's got 38.
Yeah, exactly.
And the other 3 Lawson doing Bortoletto are still yet to score.
Oh, the rookies, yeah.
Yeah. If you think out of those 3 rookies, Lawson, Doohan, and Bortoletto, I think if any other rookie gets points, it'll be Jack Doohan because he's performed well in that Alpine.
Yeah, honestly, I still think Briatore is looking for an excuse to actually get rid of Doohan and put Carlo Pinto in the car, but that's
Did you see the grid walk?
Nope. Nope.
Brundle approached
Briatore. By any
Briatore.
chance?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
They turned around and said to him, "Hi, I'm Mike Brundle. You fired me once." It was just brilliant.
Oh. Yeah.
But again, he got stubbed. He got stubbed at the grid walk.
Did he?
Yeah, by Usher.
Doesn't surprise me. We've said this many a times. If they're not interested in the sport, get them off the grid. Quite simple.
Obviously, he was there with Lewis, obviously. They're really good mates, all this lot. But when Martin went up to talk to him, he was sort of told no, he doesn't want to talk to anyone. And all this lot. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not part of the rules. The rules are, if he gets approached by him, he talks.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I say, they shouldn't. Yeah, they're supporting certain drivers, but if they're not willing to chat, get off the grid. Quite simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's where, like, Martin could probably go up to the likes of Gordon Ramsay or Jeremy Clarkson or somebody like that, and I bet he never got snubbed by him. They always get to talk to him.
Yeah, and they will do.
Because they understand.
But they've also got a passion for the sport as well.
Yeah. Whereas other certain celebrities, yeah. Like I say, if they've got no interest in speaking to the media or whatever, quite simple, get off the grid. We keep saying that every time.
All right, back to quali. Big shock about Lando.
Q2, Q3.
Yeah.
We haven't even done Q2 yet.
Q2.
Albon was unlucky.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, yeah, like you said, Lawson out doing Hadjar. Behrman.
I think it was Hamilton that done him by two.
Ooh.
Yeah. So Hamilton had pipped Albon.
Yeah.
By 0.007.
Yeah, 007. But it problem is that Williams was showing pace.
Oh yeah.
Used to be rocket shipping bloody straight line did that. But yeah, again, you know, top six were unchanged.
Yeah.
Well, top seven, shall we say, really. It would have been, but and then into Q3, it looked, you know, Hamilton only improved by less than a second, or whatever it is, 1/1000th of a second, or whatever it is.
0.100. Oh, I think it was 0.099 of a second.
He improved by.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, fair play to Yuki to getting through.
Yeah.
You know, Gasly. Yeah, he got through.
He's doing well. He's doing well in that Alpine. I mean, after last weekend's result,
Yeah.
you know, he's really hooked it up in that Alpine.
And then obviously,
Piastri getting that first lap in before
for Lando's crash.
Yeah. And he literally got it just then.
Yeah.
which sort of puts a lot of teams on the back foot because they've gone out. Some drivers have gone out on a brand new set, and they've had to back, and they can't use them.
Well, they can.
Well, yeah, but
It's
how many drivers were actually on a fast lap when he crashed?
Max.
No, they changed his tyres.
Eh? Who
They
did?
changed his tyres. Max's.
Well, he had a spare.
His last lap, yeah.
Yeah, he had a spare set he could use.
But what I mean is, obviously, those that have gone out on a brand new set.
Slightly scrubbed. Yeah. And I think Lando was pushing way too much.
Yeah, he was pushing. Obviously, he put the power down and it just went from him.
Yeah.
The back stepped out, and because it's not exactly a wide track, I think somewhere that was a bit wider, he may have been able to save that because that's what he was trying to do. But because it's such a narrow track, that one mistake, it costs you.
Yeah.
And it obviously, and it did cost him. But the restart, it was just, who's going to take pole? Russell was up there.
Well, you had Russell, you had Oscar, you had Leclerc at one point.
Yeah, don't think he actually got provisional pole, but he was up the top sort of thing. It was mainly between Max, Oscar, and George.
Yeah. And then Russell got provisional pole.
Yep.
Oscar got pole. And then by the narrowest of margins, Max put in a...
Yeah, Max got Oscar by 0.001 of a second on one lap, then came back into the pits, did a pit stop tyre change because they had enough fuel on board for enough runs.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah, 2 runs, I think.
Yeah. Obviously, brand new set of tyres, and 127.304 from Oscar and a 127.294 from Max. So it was close.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, 0.01 of a second.
But it just... I don't know if I don't know if the Red Bull is bouncing back or if the Red Bull's a bit of a Ferrari from last year. Ferrari has good qualifying pace, but then lacks its race pace.
It depends. I think a lot of it also depends on the track as well.
And Jeddah's a very, very high-speed track.
Yeah, and obviously we're 4 or 5 weeks later at Jeddah than what we normally are.
Well, Jeddah's usually done and dusted by now.
That's what I mean. So we're 4 or 5 weeks later into when we normally do Jeddah. So obviously the temperatures are a lot warmer, the humidity is a lot high. So obviously that does take, it beats the tyres up a lot more.
Well, yeah. And I mean, it could have, like I say, qualifying could have done Lando much worse. If Albon could have... Well, no, he couldn't have done. Ideally. If that Lando's crash should have happened in Q2, there would have been chance of other people leapfrogging him. He'd have been lower down the grid.
Oh, yeah.
But because it happened where it did, it was a little bit of a redemption for him, but it kind of didn't help him.
It might have done He might have done. I mean, I'm looking at the timings, obviously.
If he'd have crashed in Q2.
I still reckon he would have got through to Q3. If he crashed, if he had put it under that time, he had, and then crashed out, then yeah, he would have definitely got through to Q3, no problem. But if he hadn't put a lap in, then yeah, he would have been starting 15th. So the likes of Albon would have been promoted to Q3.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Lando's Q2 lap time of 1:27.4. That would have put him second.
Yeah.
No, Telo 1:27.4 was actually the quickest. Yeah, 1:27.4 is quicker.
So,
Fastest lap.
let's move on to the race. I have my
those lights were bloody quick.
I have my soapbox ready for a certain thing. Oh yeah, it was a quick release.
Very quick.
Now, what's your view on the Turn 1 incident between
Oscar was ahead. So therefore it's his corner. So therefore Max should have given that position back. He obviously did give the position back, therefore he was having the 5th place. Yes, I know the rules actually state it could possibly be it should be a 10-second penalty, from my memory serves me correct. But because it's a first lap incident, it's only a 5-second.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, and I think we've got all the data there, and they could see he wasn't going to make the corner. They could see that Oscar was ahead. So therefore, Max gained an advantage.
But I believe I didn't after the race that Horner have evidence or something over the steward's decision.
I don't know.
Well, that's what I'd heard, but I didn't see much afterwards. I mean, to be honest, I think Max screwed himself a little bit there by trying to cut Oscar off. I get why he did it, but I think he kind of screwed himself a little bit because he was too much focused on trying.
The other thing you got to take into consideration is that Oscar had a lot better reaction.
I know that. So, obviously, we get to the Gasly and
Yuki incident. I think that was just a racing incident.
Oh, it was. Unlucky for Yuki though, as well.
Well, unlucky. Yeah, it was unlucky for both of them. It was a racing incident. And unfortunately it happens, and as I said, it's such a narrow track. And you're going to get an incident at that first corner.
Well, yeah, but
well, turn 3, 4, wasn't it?
Turn 3, yeah. I mean, considering Yuki crashed in FP2 on the last corner, and now had a slight incident with Gasly. As long as that's not a start, as long as this isn't a thing from Yuki, as long as Yuki's not about to do a Perez. here.
Well, no, I don't think it will be.
Because I mean, Yuki's been doing well. Okay, he's not. He hasn't been quite to Max's level, but he's been within practice. He's been keeping up with Max.
Yeah.
You know, where Lawson couldn't keep up with him, Yuki's been able to.
Oh yeah.
But that was just a bit unlucky for Yuki. Now, Soulbox time. Was it just me, or did it take a bit too long to get a safety car out?
No, so I think what it was.
There was a vehicle on track before the safety car even got called out.
No, there wasn't. So what they had actually seen was, I think they were trying to see whether or not the cars could move under their own speed first. So Yuki was able to, obviously.
Yuki could, but Gasly couldn't.
Yeah. So obviously that's what I think they were waiting for. Which is why it was just a yellow to start off with, and then a safety car got brought out. And I don't think they waited as long as what they have done in the past. I mean, yeah, everybody would love to say we would love to see an earlier safety car come out earlier than what it did and things like that. But they're obviously checking on a lot of other things to what to do properly first, sort of thing.
Well,
So I don't think it was long. You know, obviously they're taking positions on where the cars are currently on the track and things like that.
Well, like I said, by the time the safety car actually was called, I'm sure they were almost back round again to the start.
I think they were just starting the back straight.
Well, that's almost but that's almost at the start.
Well, no, not it's still got some distance to go, but obviously it gives them enough time to slow them down and get the safety car out in front of them.
Yeah, but considering what speeds they can, considering what speeds they travel.
But I don't think it was that long that they waited till the safety car got called out. The problem is we can only go by what we see on the screen. Now it's down to obviously
Race director
and filming and everything like that to announce that the safety car is actually out on track for everybody to see that. So there's always going to be that slight delay. But it's been a lot worse in the past when we've had to wait for a safety car to come out.
Well, yeah, but Jeddah's proved its record again.
Oh yeah, there's been a safety car every single race so far.
Every single race at Jeddah, there's always been a safety car.
Which I think that trend will continue because of this. You know, as I said, it's not exactly a wide track. You make, playing the game yourself, you make one cock over one corner can cost you big time.
Oh yeah. And then
look, was it last year before? Look at Max on that last corner, pushing so much and bang.
Well, that's where Yuki crashed in FP2.
That last corner, that last corner can just catch you out if you don't take it right.
And you've got the thing of what was? Oh, I hate that when it completely goes out your head.
You got to fix yourself because they red flagged it because of where the crash was. Get the vehicle out to it and things like that because they have actually red flagged it to remove the vehicle.
They could have done, but they didn't want to.
Well, no, I think there hadn't been that runoff area. I reckon they would have red flagged it.
Oh, they probably would have done.
Obviously, there was that slight. You got that runoff area in 3 and 4.
Yeah, because the cars were going over it behind the safety car.
Yeah.
So
so there was that opportunity, possibility that it could have got red flagged, which would have, I think, could have hampered. It could have caused problems for McLaren with Norris and his strategy.
oh yeah, it could have. It could have. And then so you got past all that. And that had to be, that restart was definitely a U.
I think with that restart, I think Oscar was more concerned about Russell on his left.
Well, Russell was trying to hustle him.
Yeah, and I think that was a problem that Oscar had. Was obviously Russell was literally right beside him, and obviously Oscar wanted to turn. He wouldn't be able to because he'd be crashing into Russell.
Now, let me ask you this: how did Max get away with this? Did you notice that Max sort of was gonna go, but then he didn't?
Yeah.
Right before he did?
Yeah, he sort of got towards that last corner and then basically just hit the brakes. Which is what I think caught, obviously, Russell out, and I think it was Charles as well, because they were literally right in the back of Oscar.
How did Max get away with that? Because it was Sean. You saw it.
But...
he broke and then just bogged off.
Yeah. But he could say that he's braking for the corner.
But he was round the corner when he did it. That was a big...
Yeah, but he'll sit there and say he was braking because the corner was there, so he slowed down for the corner, and then once he got around the corner, he then sped off.
But he didn't, because it looked like his car broke, and then he buggered off. Down the main street.
Yeah. But that's what they'll sit there and say.
Oh,
And obviously, race director and everything else, we've got all the TVs and videos and everything else.
Well, they've got all the telemetry as well, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it was...
He wasn't very happy to be told he had a 5-second penalty, put it that way.
I know. And then towards the end of the rest, did Kimi Räikkönen. Not say a lot.
Didn't say anything, did he?
No.
Which I think it's a bit childish, but that's my opinion.
The problem is if he voiced how he really felt, he'd be fined. Quite honestly. That's why he didn't say a lot.
Yeah.
I think Max is probably getting a bit pissed off with the FIA. Because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of rules. And yet again, we're hearing swearing. within the car over the radios. And I thought they were supposed to be not allowed to do this.
So my interpretation on that is, I think it's not it. I'm waiting to see whether Max gets penalised, because obviously he was swearing in regards to his penalty, which is obviously race director and all that lot. So I'm waiting to see whether or not he does get penalised for it. But I think it's more if it's live broadcasting, press interviews, and all that lot. It's when if you caught swearing through them, and showing any what's the word I'm looking for?
Basically, bad mouthing the FIA.
Yeah.
Oh, we never heard whether Sainz got fined.
No, I know.
So I just I think that the FIA and the F1 drivers and everybody, they're gonna come to blows in a big way.
Most probably.
I mean, what would F1 do if all the drivers basically protested against the FIA?
There'd be no race, that's for sure.
Exactly. And the FIA couldn't really do much about it. Well, they could, but they'd have to fine every single driver.
So Max, his statement was, I cannot share my opinion because I might get penalised. So it's better not to speak about it. It's just the world we live in. You can't share fully your opinion because it's not appreciated, apparently, or because or people can't handle the full truth. It's honestly just how everything is becoming. Everyone is super sensitive about everything. And then, of course, what we have currently, we cannot be critical anyway. So that's fine. Let's talk it even better for me.
Yeah. And I actually understand where he's coming from. Because why can't they say what they want? You know what I mean? It's all because of one person and what this one person is trying to do. And I know I speak a lot about this one person. And the problem is, this one person's up for election. He's up for the election to do with his presidency. And no, I'm not speaking about Donald Trump. And he's trying to make things, or what he thinks he's trying to make better, he's actually not making better. I've looked through comments of people on Facebook on F1 posts, and it's like, all I'm reading is the FIA and comments regarding said person. And it's like, do you know how, I'm sorry, but do you know how woke F1 and Sky are becoming? Even Sky.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the thing where Crofty had to apologise for Karoon?
No.
So if I said, so Karoon and Crofty were commenting during one of the practice sessions. This is what I've read. Karoon turned round and they were talking about something, and Karoon just comes out with Jesus Christ at the end of his whatever he was explaining. And Crofty apologised because he didn't want to offend anybody. Yeah. Still there?
No comment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Of course you wouldn't comment, but I get it. People are super sensitive, but like we'll just say it as it is. Regardless of if we try not to offend anybody, but I'm sick of fucking just trying to pussyfoot around and not offend.
There we go. That's what I was looking for. So this is from the stewards regarding that incident with Max.
Alright.
The stewards review positioning, marshalling system data, video, timing, telemetry, and in-car video evidence, and determined that car 81 has its front axle at least alongside the mirror of car 1 prior to and at the apex of corner 1 when trying to overtake car 1 on the inside. In fact, car 81 was alongside car 1 at the apex. Based on the driver's standards guidelines, it was therefore car 81's corner and he was entitled to be given the room. Car 1 then left the track and gained a lasting advantage that was not given back. He stayed in front of car 81 and sought to build on the advantage. Ordinarily, the baseline penalty for leaving the track and gaining a lasting advantage is 10 seconds. However, given that this was lap 1 turn 1 incident, we considered that to be a mitigating circumstance and imposed a 5-second time penalty instead. Competitors are reminded that they have the right to appeal certain decisions of the stewards in accordance with Article 15 of the FIA International Sporting Code. Chapter 4. Yeah.
Now,
so it could have been worse for him.
It could have been, but let me ask you this. Where's the whole let them race philosophy? Where's that gone?
I think that went out the window a long time ago.
Point proven.
And I think a lot of this actually falls down to, between Red Bull and McLaren, goes back to, you could say, very Texas last year.
Yeah, but I'm just in general, the whole let them race philosophy, has just disappeared.
Yeah.
To be honest, we can see races won and lost just by the decision of a steward. The problem is the stewards are trying to prove that they are on top of things after being called out that much of inconsistency and everything last season. And to be honest,
yeah, I mean,
it's ruining the sport.
And the other thing you've got to sit down and work out is, would Max have won the race if it hadn't been for that 5 seconds? If he'd given that position back,
no,
straight away, and not have to deal with 5 seconds, could he have actually gone on to win the race?
No.
And that's what people are asking, because obviously ended up being what Max was only 2.8 behind him in the end.
Yeah.
Then you got to sit down and say, okay, fair enough, he was only 2.8, but he built up enough gap. So when he did pit,
it didn't do too much damage. Well, yeah. But that's what you do. That's what you try and do.
Yeah, so actually giving him a 5 second time penalty when he's out in first isn't much of a... It sounds stupid, but it's not much of a penalty.
No. And then... And then obviously, was it Lawson got a 10-second penalty for leaving the track and getting in?
Yeah, I don't understand that, because
an advantage.
From the incident I think they were referring to, he was actually ahead before the corner.
Yeah, well, I'm unsure because I either missed that bit or we missed the incident altogether.
Yeah, but as I said, the only time I can think of, especially with replays and things like that, he was already ahead
Yeah.
prior to that corner, so I don't understand where that would have come into effect, because how can you give somebody a penalty for being ahead?
Yeah. Unsure. You know, fair play, like I said, fair play to Williams for picking up points.
Oh, they played the team game quite well. Take you back to Singapore last year.
Well, the fact that Sainz was just towing him along to keep him out of Hadja, trying to keep him defended against Hadja.
Yeah, which is what he did. But he did that last year in Singapore with Ferrari.
Yeah.
I think at that point he was keeping Norris, giving Norris a tow.
Yeah.
So Russell wasn't catching him, sort of thing. But he, again, I think Sainz is finally settling into that car.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Antonelli had a cracking race.
Yeah. Russell just, well, that's the thing. Even Russell just, yet again, kept
He's
quiet.
there for the he's there for the points.
Norris had that recovery drive from 10th to 4th.
Which, again, around that track, I reckon he could have got third.
He just, I don't know, he just didn't push. Well, he sort of pushed towards the end, but not. I just think he pushed a little bit too late.
Having that battle with Hamilton for those 3 laps
screwed him a little bit.
Yeah.
We noticed Hamilton finished where he started.
Yeah.
Whereas Leclerc was up on the podium. But Leclerc is settled into the Ferrari, of course.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Of course he is, you know, and...
I mean, I'll wait till the summer break to ask one of my questions I've got on the mind. So I'll wait till summer break and wait till the race before summer break, and then we'll see how his performance is before I ask that question. But
it was a good race. It was, you know, there was some battles going on.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
But yet again, you said about Stroll having a good weekend.
He did not have the best of weekends this weekend.
Didn't have a good race though.
No. And that's what's quite shocking, because obviously, as much as we sit there and diss the bloke, he's actually been quite solid. So obviously, to have a bad weekend like he did, it was a bit of a, okay, what's going on here sort of thing.
Yeah. But Doohan couldn't even recover. Considering he was, like I say, he was the only Alpine in the race.
Yeah, I think it was Doohan. I'm trying to work it out now. Let me have a look at that bit. Yeah, Doohan, Ocon, and Bortoletto. All 3 pitting under the safety car for the hard tyres. I think that was a massive gamble, and I think that was
Didn't
the wrong
work.
decision. No. I think if they stayed out and then switched over, I think we would have made a big, you know, they could have done a lot better than what they did.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, science on those medium tyres make them go 20 odd laps.
Yeah.
was phenomenal to watch.
I mean,
What was it? Leclerc, 29 laps. Lap 29 he pitted.
who?
Leclerc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, the Hasses weren't... I kind of knew the Hasses weren't going to be too strong because of the type of track it is. High-speed tracks, they don't seem to suit
No.
the Haas.
But it was a big call for a lot of teams, obviously. Well, a lot of teams. So only a few drivers that did it. Started off on the hard. And I think...
Norris did.
Yes, I mean, Norris did really well on those hards because they came to life. I think his biggest problem was, obviously, those 3 laps he was battling Hamilton.
Yeah.
Sort of hindered him getting that final podium. I think if he'd done properly on that on the first time round, yeah, he would have caught Leclerc no problem.
So, going into obviously the driver's standings, Oscar's at the top by 10 points.
Yep.
10 points clear of Lando.
And who was the last Australian driver to be top of the championship?
Webber.
His manager.
Yep. Uh, 2 points between Lando and Max.
Yep.
So if Lando keeps having a bad run of form, Max will overtake him.
Yeah.
Russell's 4th. Leclerc's a bit behind, but Antonelli's catching Leclerc. But with Leclerc's form and Antonelli's form, I think Leclerc will stay ahead unless...
Was what, 9 points between them?
Who? Leclerc and
Antonelli.
Yeah. I mean, Hamilton's catching... There's not many
7 points. 7 points between them.
Yeah. And then you've got, at the bottom, you've got 3 drivers tying on 5, which is Hadjar, Sainz, and Yuki.
Yep.
You've got 3 drivers on 6, which is obviously
Berman, Hulk, and
Hulkenberg, and Gasly. Stroll's just sat there with 10 points. Alonso's...
Which is good for him.
Yeah. Alonso's yet to score. Lawson's yet to score. Doohan's yet to score, and Bortoletto's yet to score. Like I said, I think the one that's quite impressed, was unsure about him, but Antonelli's been solid.
Yeah.
And I think it's good. I think it's going to be an interesting season. Just rest of the season, just not. Probably some of the races aren't going to be. But the Driver Championship, there's going to be a battle. There'll be a battle at least the top 4.
Oh,
and
yeah. I mean, Russell's...
And things are going to heat up between Lando and Oscar.
Yeah. I mean, you sit there in the constructors.
Merck's second at the moment.
Yeah.
And Ferrari's...
Because they've got that consistency.
Yeah.
Both drivers constantly scoring some big points.
Mm.
You know, they are a team to look out for.
For the constructors, yeah.
Yeah.
At the moment, Red Bull could be caught by Ferrari.
Yeah.
This early on, Red Bull could be caught.
Yeah. I mean, Red Bull, what, 11 points? Yeah, 11 points clear of Ferrari.
Ferrari
That's it.
at the moment. Yeah.
But again, because they've not, and I know it's not Yuki's fault, but without having that second driver that's scoring points as well, it will hinder them because obviously Ferrari has got both tech drivers are constantly scoring points.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. If you actually think about it, Ferrari could actually be third. I think possibly third. But obviously Lewis was disqualified.
Yeah. Sorry,
So it's
hasn't done Ferrari any favours, really.
no. I mean, they may have been third. They may have just been a few more points behind. I'm not sure because I can't remember where he finished. So, there is that battle. That battle going on there. And then if you look down the bottom end of the table, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, there's a battle going on there.
Yeah. And you've got to think.
I mean, Williams sat in 5th.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This time last season, Williams weren't even there.
No. I mean, even Sauber's got points this year.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I don't think they scored any points last year.
Yeah, they did. Or was it just Guan Yu Zhou? I think they did with Guan Yu Zhou, didn't they?
Can't remember.
I think they did because there was a bet on with somebody, and that's why Sainz ended up having to dress up as something and them two have a photograph together.
But either way, it was, there was battles with the constructors already, and we're only at the beginning of the season, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Oscar's had a great. I know it's the first trouble ahead of the season.
Yeah, but bar what happened in Australia, Oscar's back. He's bouncing back, and he's got a point to prove. He's got a point to prove to Lando as well, that he's not just going to sit back and be a wingman.
Well, this is his third race win.
Yeah.
Of the season.
Yep.
I mean, you think just in this triple header alone, though, he's had
two
wins and a third.
Yeah. Yeah, Oscar's not. I think Oscar's trying to go. Oscar's going for now that Oscar's leading the championship at the moment. Yes, it's early in the season, but I think he's. I think he's going to go for it as well. I say it's early on, but I think he'll go for it.
I think thing is though, you look at the drivers obviously as they are. I reckon anyone between Oscar, Norris, Max, and Russell, they're all going to go fight for it.
Oh yeah.
I think by the end of the season, personally, I don't reckon Russell will be there.
Well, no, I think he will.
But he's not giving up. I think the main, obviously, yes, Oscar's currently leading with by 10 points. Yes, it's going to be a massive boost for him. But you sit there and watch him through the interviews and things like that, and it doesn't faze him.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't faze him.
He's just there doing what he's doing. He's enjoying what he's doing, which is racing.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem with the likes of Norris and Max is so much because they know they've got the opportunity to win it, that they put that pressure on themselves.
Yeah. Whereas Oscar just, yeah, you know what I mean? Oscar's just, yeah.
He's not thinking about winning it. Yeah, exactly. He's not thinking about winning the championship. He's not there, Yeah, it'd be great if he does win it. Don't get me wrong.
It'll be,
but
if Oscar's still if Oscar's leading the championship come summer break, things will change.
Oh yeah, of course it will.
The mentality will change, but I don't think it'll phase him. I think he'll just ignore it and just let it, just get on with things.
I mean, you listen to him on the radio with his race engineer, and both of them are just so calm and...
I don't know, Oscar sounded a little bit flustered at one point.
Yeah, but they're just... There's nothing really... there between the two of them. Well, there is, obviously, there's a great relationship there, and you can tell there is just by the way in which they just talk to each other.
Yeah, but they're not like, for example, Giampiero Lambiase and Max.
Oh, no.
They're not like that at each other, sort of thing. They're working well together, but there's not any... There's not any fieriness coming from Oscar, if you know what I mean.
No.
It's just, yeah, he's very calm.
I did love the radio message between Charles and his engineer. Well done, Carlos. Thank you, Brian.
Well done, what?
Well done, Charles. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah.
They have a laugh.
Then there's the inside joke of the words of wisdom.
Yeah.
And all that lot.
But if things don't go Max's way, he gets very agitated.
Well, we know that. But Hamilton was the same.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Hamilton was the same. And it's because Hamilton was chasing, so many titles. Max now is trying to chase, what, his fifth?
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it, but I don't think it's Max's year.
I don't.
I
think the battle will be between Lando and Oscar.
Yeah.
Personally. And I think Russ will be there, biting at the heels.
That's quite possible. And I think the constructors' battle will be between... I'm going
to say it will be between McLaren and Mercedes.
I want to say top four at this moment. Because if Leclerc keeps pumping in as well, and Hamilton manages to get his shit together and get better, I think that'll boost. If Yuki doesn't get his shit together, which I don't want that to happen, because I do want Yuki to...
I mean, I'd love to watch Kimi, actually win a race this year.
Will it happen?
Whether it
happen?
Whether it depends on which one it's at. Obviously, everybody, if he does win at Monza, that would just be mental for him.
With being an Italian as well.
Exactly. Or the Emilia Romagna.
You mean Imola?
Yeah. Personally, I don't think, as much as I love to see it, I don't think Mercedes are quite there yet.
Don't know, don't know.
They're creeping up, but they're not quite on par, and I think they know that and have accepted it at the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas previous years, they've known they've not been quick, but it's just admitting it to themselves that they're not as quick, and they just need to just get their heads down and focus on what they're doing.
Yeah. Right. So I'm going to move it on to the Fantasy League. Not looking forward to this, to be honest.
Say that every time.
Because I'm not. Because I think I've not had a good race. Ooh. Ryan did not have a good race. Norris kind of screwed him then, didn't it? A little bit.
He still got 72 points up Norris.
Yeah. Obviously, Angela's finally sorted the team out. Adam. Okay. Fair enough. Ooh, David. What did...
He's no negative.
He did use his no negative. I didn't expect him to play that so early. And then, obviously...
Logan had a -6 on Alpine.
Because of Gasly.
Yeah.
And doing not scoring, I'm guessing.
I'm guessing so, but obviously he only got was -6.
Yeah, because it was a -20 for race not classified.
Yeah. So qualifying position there, 2 points. One driver Q3, 5 points. Fastest pit stop, 5 points. Race overtake bonus, which was 2 overtakes, 2 points, but it's a race not classified. Lost them the most.
Yeah. And then Alan had 196. Nothing did you, though?
No.
Doing got you a point, at least.
Yeah, just obviously low scores.
Yeah.
I think that's been the same pretty much across the whole board, is the low scores.
So Simon came in second. And I think I know what kind of did me. That I think I know why I'm there. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yeah.
And also you got Oscar in there with 2 on 2 times, which actually only gained you
76.
4 points. Yeah, but it gained you 4 extra points.
Yeah.
Over Norris.
But Albon did me good. If I'd probably had... Ooh, hang on. So Albon scored 10. Sainz would have done me 12. Shite.
I know, I realised that.
Sainz would have done me better.
I would have got 6. If I kept Science in, if I hadn't replaced Science for Ocon, I would have had 6 extra points.
Yeah. Sainz would have done me a lot better. So what's that done to standings then? Angela's at the bottom.
Yeah, David's moved to 7th.
David's in 7th. Ryan's in 6th. Logan's 5th. Adam's 4th. You're 3rd.
By 1 point.
I'm 2nd by a point. And Simon's just hit 1,000 bang on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
He's 44 points ahead of me.
Who is Simon?
Yeah.
It's only 40.
So
It'd be 43 ahead of me then.
Yeah. So it's not exactly...
Oh, he's not running away with it yet.
No.
But to get 1,000 just bang on, you know what I mean? And not...
You know, you're only 1 point ahead of me.
Oh, I know this. Don't worry. I know this. I already know this. And interestingly enough, next race is a sprint.
Yeah.
So we could all go to shit there. We don't know.
But it's also Miami.
Yeah.
And Lando's going to want to do well there because of last year.
Because he won there.
Yeah. It was his first ever race win, wasn't it?
Yeah. So have you got any more closing thoughts before I do the timings?
No, it was a good race. There was battles going on. I think the decision was bang on for Verstappen. That's my opinion. I know everybody else will have their opinion on it, but it was a solid race.
Yeah. So obviously, as you know, the next one's Miami, 2nd to the 4th of May. Wow, Star Wars Day on for the Miami race. So obviously we've got May the 2nd. Practice 1 is 5:30 till 6:30 UK time. Depending on obviously your time zones, you adjust it. 2nd of May for sprint quali, which is 9:30 till 10:15. I'll call it 10:15, but it's 22:14, but I'll just call it 3:15. Then 3rd of May, you have the sprint at 5 o'clock till 6, and then 3rd of May qualifying for the race, 9 o'clock till 10, so it's a late one. And obviously on the 4th of May is the race at 9 p.m.
So it's a late race.
It's a late race. Better than an early race, but it's a late race. And that's 10 days' time.
Yep.
So obviously this podcast will, I'll try and make sure I don't mess up, will go out on a Wednesday, and then we will be back for the next podcast. Oh, well, 2 of us maybe. Who knows? Shall be back on the 5th for the next one. So obviously, thank you to everybody for listening. Thank you to Alan for being here.
You're welcome as always.
Obviously, if you do want to join the Fantasy League, it's up above in the description. Obviously, go and check out the YouTube channel as well. That'd be much appreciated. And we shall see you for the next one. So until then.
Adios, amigos.
Goodbye for now.